Okay, good. I was worried there for a minute. My GoPro kept trying to power up to record, but then it would shut off. It's gotten cold. That's the one thing about GoPro. The batteries don't last long, especially in the cold. Do you hear that? That honk. Dang it. That right there, did you hear that? That honk kind of sound. Okay, it is a bird. It's coming from the sky. At first, I thought it sounded like a baby deer call. Like, oh, that's bright. Like where a baby deer is calling to its mother. But that's coming from the sky, I'm pretty sure. I often think of interesting things when I'm out here, like the idea of, you know, like when you hear a baby deer crying out in the dark, calling to its mother, that to every predator out here is the dinner call. That's like, oh, let's go get some of that, right? So I've often thought about predators that hunt predators, and most predators do not hunt other predators, at least not in the mammal genus. There are a lot of insect and arachnids that hunt other insects and arachnids that are predators. Most of the time, though, and I can't think of an instance, other than like mankind, I guess, you know, where a predator hunts another predator, like flat out and on purpose, you know what I mean? That's why I like having the predator smell on me. And I know I do, because like the animals, they act differently, you know? So I've often thought about like one way that a predator could call another predator in if they were preying on it would be like to make the sound of a baby deer out in the forest or something. Just got the fire started. It wasn't easy to do. And my only gripe with GoPro is that the batteries don't last long and the camera itself doesn't work well in the cold. When the camera gets cold, it does some buggy stuff. Like it won't activate and stuff, or it'll activate and then say like file glitch and stuff. Besides that, GoPro is the way to go when it comes to filming, especially for an artist or cinematographer that wants that movie style feeling, because this is what the big boys shoot with. This is what Quentin Tarantino in his car drive scenes and stuff, he shoots with GoPro. So that's why I shoot with GoPro. Not because of Quentin, but because I get that cinematic look and feel that I desire. Now, fire, guys, in an apocalyptic situation, fire in some cases can be more important than water itself. Humans and most animals can only go about 3 days without water, give or take, you know, a little bit of time depending on the environment. Like if it's hot environment, the human will need water or die of thirst sooner than if it was like a moist or cooler environment. However, the cooler environment may not be applicable. I think that the cold might wick the liquid from a person as well. Fire, depending on how cold it gets at night and how cold our body gets at night, we might not be able to go a night without it. So fire's a must-have. And even with good, with an accelerant, with good fire building skills, still, if we don't have good wood and stuff, it can be incredibly difficult to start a fire. Like this one here was not easy. I'm dealing with a lot of waterlogged stuff. I want to do tutorials in fire starting in different kinds of environment with different kinds of like firewood and stuff. So I don't have much. I just had to get warm. I'm not even wearing my cold weather gear. So like I don't even have my thermals on underneath these jeans. I can do the cold pretty well for a pretty long time, though still, no matter how good somebody is at doing it, blocking it out, working through it, or maybe even a little bit enjoying it, our core temperature, if it drops to where our body can't replenish our heat, no matter who we are or how experienced we are in it, it's a bad thing and we need to get warmed up. So I'm utilizing what little fire I have to get warm before setting up the tent, and then I'm going to cook the hot dogs that I got from the Quick Stop down there, and that's what I'll have for dinner. I'll try and save enough of the coals or something I can start a fire quicker tomorrow so I can make some coffee in the morning. Okay, you're back online. That's that honking thing, but I heard something else right over there. I don't know when you're all cut off just then. I always try and keep my eye behind me too when I hear something in the other direction, like Jurassic Park. We don't want to get ambushed from behind. Remember? Clever girl. So I've just been sitting here for a minute, listening, trying to get my camera back online. Y'all guys are having serious difficulties right now. I think that I still need to warm the camera a little bit more. Okay, it looks like it's working now. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, that's it. Last year it was nothing like this out here. Remember this time of year? This is right around when we did our last adventure up to the lake, and it was like covered in snow, and there were wolf tracks and all that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and make the tent here in a few minutes. Let this cook down. I'll get good and warm, and then cook some food, get ready to go to bed. If I can get to bed early enough to wake up earlier, that would be great. I'm on the schedule right now. I'm on the overseas schedule is what I like to call it. You know, because a lot of my friends out there, y'all guys, are overseas, and the time difference and all. The point of the story is, if I can get up earlier tomorrow, that would be really great, because we could utilize some sunshine. It's that, or I need to invest in some light panels. Already though, my batteries and stuff, they add weight. I mean, I'm too loud. If you're ever packing up for an apocalypse situation, remember, ammo, batteries, liquid, dried goods, these things actually weigh quite a bit. Yeah, did you hear that? There's something out back this way, and we won't be able to track it. There's some mud out there, you know, maybe something will leave tracks. Last year, there were wolves out here. Remember that? They were running right past us and everything. It's like, this spot, it's safe because of the corral. It's like, we've put up our borders. I've peed all over the place. They know I'm here, right? They have to come in, they challenge, we fight. Whoever wins, wins. Which is kind of cool. Out there, it's a totally different story. Out there, without a person's back against something, we could easily get sniped off in the middle of the night. No matter how good we are at it, you know, they can see a lot better than we can. Everything out there that's hunting can see way better than we can. Oh, that fire feels so good. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how cold I was. Yeah, that's nice. I was telling my buddy the legend that this is kind of like a celebration trip for me, kind of like a cleansing or a rite of passage in this last 3 years, and now what the future has to offer. It's like, you know, I've been locked up on the farm for a while, and it's been a wonderful life. It's just it's very safe too at the same time, you know, and very much the same. And so it feels good to be out again, doing things like taking risks and chances and doing big things, you know, like this with y'all is a big thing. I mean, now it's not just like my hopes and dreams and aspirations of what I want to put into the world and get back, you know. It's also like Michael and Tom's now, and so many of y'all guys are so very vested in it too. We've really done something cool out here, I think. And now here I want to show y'all guys a little bit. I understand that people are, you know, some people are a little bit worried nowadays about what might happen in the world and everything, and how we could survive in different kinds of situations and environments. And so I want to run y'all through some of the basic, you know, road wanderer, end of the world, apocalyptic survival skills that have kept me alive throughout my life. I've only had to really use them on my own, like maybe twice, 3 times, something like that. But I've been living them, well, I guess for 30 years, you know, 30 usable years. So I'm looking forward to this summer when it's hot out. This tent's going to be really good too, I think, because it's like netting, you know, it's mesh. No, this is not sponsored. I'm just we will only sponsor stuff that or advertise stuff, be sponsored by products that are good and give true ratings about how the product does, you know, in the actual field. I sworn I heard something. You know, you hear something, but you don't hear it. It's more like you feel it, you know? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's a great tent. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, now this is the topper. You know, the rain fly goes over the top, makes the rest of it complete. I want to put this on just here by my lonesome. You just throw it over and that clips on the side. And go ahead and finish charging your batteries, because I'm going to do dinner in a minute. Oh, that's one thing I did think of a minute ago. So when we do like an outdoors fire or something, especially like a apocalypse survival fire, right? That's where we're just burning anything to stay warm. Well, lots of woods when we cook on them. So if we're just burning any kind of wood, it's not going to flavor the food very well when we roast our food over the fire. If we burn the wood down to coals, it will then cook the food without leaving a bad taste, because it burns all of like those impurities and stuff out of the wood that we're burning, and it's cooked with just the heat basically. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'm laying this burn down to a nice bed of coals, and then I will cook my hot dogs on top of it and crawl into bed. Yeah, which side is wet? This side is wet. It is the little things in life. So I got some of this wire, this loose wire that was just laying over the fence. I'm gonna use it to roast my hot dogs. They're still getting a lot of smoke from that unburned wood. I'm just going to live with it, like in an apocalyptic situation. If you want, you can just move that out of the way. I don't really mind the taste, though. Actually, you know what? Never mind. Let me move them. Hang on. You're right. I know. I don't have to be gutting it out here all the time. Just because we can live with something doesn't necessarily, just because we can live with something doesn't necessarily mean we should. Not bad. I mean, it's not delivery, but it's not bad. Yeah, it's definitely warm. There, got you working now. Okay, tired, not sure what time it is. Guess it's probably about 12, maybe 12:30. I'm going to get up as soon as I wake up. We need as much light with tomorrow as we can get. I'm tired anyway, so I don't think I'm gonna have any problem going to bed. It's funny how physically exerting day, just how ready to sleep I can be. So tomorrow, I'm not sure what we're doing. We'll come up with a plan in the morning with coffee. Today, well, it was a good day. It was awesome that the gentleman I work for brought me up here. You know, I think he knew that, like, I was kind of, it's a hard push, right? And normally I wouldn't do it, like, all the way from the orchard to here, to the top of the grade, right? And I don't know, it's pretty cool because he was like, well, you want to ride to the grade? And I was like, yes, totally, thank you. Because truthfully, the highway part kind of sucks. It's just like dodging cars in a long drag, right? And so we got to the bottom of the grade and he didn't even say anything. He just kept on going. It's pretty cool. I mean, he's a pretty cool guy, all right. Yeah. He used to log up here. Drive log truck, yeah. Pretty cool guy. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you in the morning. Never give up, never surrender, because you're worth it. And I believe in you. Good morning, friends. Oh, I think it's early-ish. Might be around like 7 or 8. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, it got cold last night. Not really in the sleeping bag. It was just like a little bit chilly here on the ground. It must have been cold though, because this bag's rated for like 40 below zero. Oh. I'm gonna start getting up and get some coffee. So in the mornings, I always try and start out slow. You know, my socks are wet. I'm gonna have to get new ones. I always carry extra socks. Yeah, I start out slow so I can kind of, you know, process, get ready for the day, enjoy kind of the peace of the morning. Most people like to use thermal underwear to go underneath their jeans. I prefer sweatpants. They're thicker, warmer in my opinion. If it's really cold and you have thermal underwear, you can wear those under the sweatpants too for extra layering. Sometimes though, it's important not to have too tight of clothes because that'll restrict your body's ability to store the heat. So that's why I kind of like they're loose, you know, and they're warm and thick. These socks don't have much elastic in them. So with some kind of accelerant, like an oil or something, it's a lot easier to start a fire the next day if you already have the coals, because they'll hold that oil and then they heat up and come back to life really quick. Big bowl of chili, that's gonna be a good breakfast. It's chilly today with that, the wind. It's one thing about a survival situation, the wind can be one of the worst parts. The stagnant cold can suck. But you put a little bit of wind in on top of it, and there's something about it. It's just, it's challenging, really. It is. Especially after you've done it for a couple weeks to a month. You want to put up a good wind block at some point. I specialize more in the traveling survival. The standing still survival is easier because every day your shelter and your environment becomes warmer, safer, better. I mean, you build up other problems, like if the shelter starts to dry and your fire's too close, you know, that could burn the place and that could run a person. What I do is more of a traveling survival. So I'm making camp every other couple days or so and traveling from one point to the next. Oh, that's good. Here's a new hair sign. That wind is burr. Good thing I'm hearing like a four-wheeler. It could be the Legend. Breakfast of Champions. Burr. Freaking burr. I haven't done this in a long time. My blood is really thin. It takes a couple weeks of doing this before the blood starts to thicken up. Once it thickens up though, it causes better friction in your veins as it's thicker in it. It takes more energy to make it move, so it causes more heat. So it takes like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I adapt really quick. I can do it in like 4 or 5 days kind of, and start getting adapted to being warmer. So don't worry, at first it might suck. You will get tougher, I promise. We're built that way. We do it. It's hard, guys. It's not easy. Any survival situation, it's not easy. Being prepared for it ahead of time really helps, though. Like with the right gear and stuff, you know, and the mindset. Survival is all up here. That's why I say sane people, out here, you want to be a little bit crazy, right? Sane people give up when there is no hope, right? They give up and they die. Crazy people keep going even when there isn't any hope. And sometimes just because we can't see the hope the way that we're gonna make it doesn't mean it's not there. So a crazy person finds the way to survive. Yeah, here's something. Oh, it's the legend. Yeah. Let's go say hey. Which way should we go?
We'll circle around.
All right, cool. Cool.
What's that? Did you have a visitor?
Not that I saw. Did you see tracks anywhere?
Well, I just came out the creek bottom over
Yeah.
here checking fences, and there was a moose down in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and she ran up the draw,
Okay.
and then she was angling like she was coming up over the top of the hill.
Really?
And I didn't know if you were down here, if you were in
Yeah.
the barn, and I thought, I better go look.
Well, I appreciate it. No, last night I heard something going through here, and I wouldn't doubt if it was a moose, because I heard that right here at this fence, I heard a big and
Yeah.
it kind of sounded like a horse. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, I thought it might, okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, how cool.
So, I don't know if she smelled the smoke and then veered off
Yeah.
back that way, but yeah, I thought she was headed this way.
Really?
So,
Well, no, thank you for the warning, because the moose are the one thing that I don't want to run into out here.
Right.
Was
I
she
mean,
big?
yeah, she was good size, yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Okay.
I mean, she wasn't full grown, but I would say she was probably 2-3 years old.
Really?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, she was a good looking moose.
Okay.
So,
It'd be cool to see her from a distance, get a little video of her. You know, and moose is the one I want to see with binoculars. Let me grab my camera over here real quick.
sure.
I'm just doing coffee this morning. Is it? It's supposed to get a little stormy up here. Rain, snow, mix Sunday is what the legend was saying. So I don't know, guys. It sucked to get rained out here. I don't know how hard it'd be to get to the cabin. I mean, the snow is bound to start before we get there. Right around the Alpine area is what I'm figuring it probably would start. But I don't want to sit down here in the rain either. I don't want to have to retreat to the legends because, you know, you can't always guarantee you're going to have somewhere you can retreat to in like a survivor apocalypse situation. So we're kind of here to just do the whole thing as if the world had ended, you know? We'll figure it out. It's pretty out, isn't it? This is a neat time of year because, like right now with the sun, it's actually warm. It's so nice. It's so warm. However, right up underneath the shade, it gets cold again. And so what that means is that it's really a cool time of year because I can have the daytime, but then the night is still kind of like challenging. It's still important to have firewood and like take care of the shelter, you know. Out here during the summer, when it's like hot out here, I don't even have to worry about anything. I have nights that if it weren't for cooking, that I wouldn't even do a fire. I can just throw my sleeping bag out underneath the trees and like look up at the stars. It's beautiful. What I love about this area, Chopaka Mountain itself, is that from month to month, it changes into a completely different thing. The only thing that's the same are like obviously the trees and the hills. The rest of it though, it's always covered in some kind of different vegetation. I mean, whether it's hot and grueling or cold and freezing or somewhere in between, it's always different. And that's always so cool. Okay, I gotta charge your battery a little bit. We're headed down to the lake first. We'll pass cell phone spot and then see what we're doing with the rest of the day. Moose tracks. Not too fresh. So I'm guessing that because notice how it looks kind of worn, right? It's not like pronounced and like jagged. And then also you notice these rocks laying here. This one, all these little rocks. How they're clean and everything, but they're not pushed into the dirt, right? Like that. They're not sunk into the soil like the moose just stepped on. See how easy they are to push into the mud? So that means that during the last rain and stuff, those most likely got washed down into the track. Otherwise, they'd be pushed into the ground. Now, being that the legend just saw a moose this morning, we know that they're in the area, and this just further supports that. I always think it's kind of neat as I'm just walking along, kind of like enjoying the view and my own, you know, aloneness and everything. I like run into tracks, and then all of a sudden there's a change kind of in the vibe. It's like, oh, now we're looking around. There's something else here besides just me, you know, kind of, I don't know, it's neat. And we know wolves are out here, especially this time of year, because they were here this time of year last year. It was just, this was a frozen wasteland back then. It's been the weirdest year. The weather is just downright weird, guys. Next stop will be the stream that comes out down here, and the stream runs out of this valley here that leads up by the cabin down around and into the lake. This is a bridge here. It's a log bridge we're going to be passing now, and then the creek after that. I know, wouldn't you think that the bridge would go over the creek? Technically it does. It just goes over this gully here. Anyway, it's hard to describe. How's your battery doing? 22%, that's not bad. If I keep the GoPro warm, it does a lot better. I've been keeping it in my pocket now so it doesn't get cold. I got a little bit of a headache. So they just put these logs, built them up on the sides here, then ran more logs across, and that's where we wind up with this bridge. They also hung some stuff down there, I guess at some point probably to help hold the gravel in, but it's blown loose now. All right, let's go. The lake, well, there it is. We definitely won't be going out on it. The way that sky looks, and knowing that the weather's supposed to get bad Sunday, I don't know. I still have a question of whether or not to push on to the cabin, or just try and rig camp up down there where we can live through it. We'll figure it out. I do know that the weather being like this is deceiving, and so it could turn around and rock and roll at any time, you know, hit us with the full front of what it's supposed to be right now. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out.